Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be. My name is Vish Mathur. I'm the Global Head of Engagement at the Telecom Infra Project.
And I'm John Pudney, Global Sales and Participation Manager at the Telecom Infra Project. Nice to see you all.
Nice to see you all. John, what are we talking about today?
Vish, I thought you'd never ask. Today, we are going to talk people through Fyuz, which is happening from the 3rd to the 5th of November at the Convention Centre in Dublin again. Beautiful venue.
Fantastic. I think what we'd like to do, dear audience, is John and I would like to give you a little bit more of a sort of an idea of exactly what the experience is going to be like at Fyuz, and actually a little bit more about the agenda. So just to really brim it up and make you want to come to Fyuz. So let me start with a question to you, John. I was wondering if you could tell everyone, what is it that's going to be different in Fyuz 2025? How's the experience going to be so much better than it was last year?
It's a good question. So we know we got the venue right last year. It's a beautiful venue. Anyone who attended will know it's in a great location. Dublin's incredibly walkable, but it's also a beautiful venue inside. Although it's 13 years old now, it still looks like it was built yesterday. So from that point of view, it's a great in terms of getting to it, all those kind of things. The main changes for us this year, and this is based on the feedback from last year, because as I always say, we just put it together. It's actually everyone else's show, right? So what we wanted to do was really streamline the agenda and streamline the experience for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So as you remember, although it's a beautiful building and our happy hour still happening up on the 3rd floor, so people can have that beautiful view at the end of the day and kind of see over the city and see over the River Liffey, we wanted to strip back the agenda in terms of the amount of content and really focus in on those areas, which I think you're going to talk about in a bit, really focus in on some kind of key areas in terms of what people are working on. But then also, rather than having the main stage up on the 4th floor, as we did last year, we're going to bring it down and we're going to build a stage on the floor above the exhibition floor. So that means when you enter, in front of you is the exhibition hall. We're building the acceleration stage in there where we'll have content all afternoon. Last year, we just did 1 or 2 sessions. This year, we want to use it all day, keep that buzz going around the room, keep that kind of people together for networking, all those kind of important things. Once again, what people want from us. And then as you go up that escalator, the first thing you'll see as you walk around will be the main stage now. And that's also where we'll be hosting our breakout sessions on that floor. And that means that you can go up there. Once again, there's a great area for networking, but then you can just come back down the escalator, just one escalator. You can't get lost. You don't really have to worry about where everything is. So it's just about, I suppose if I was going to put it into a techie sense, it's about improving that user experience from that point of view. And then the other kind of key things for us was looking at how do we actually use the acceleration stage? How do we get more buzz going through there? So we've got more, rather than being just us talking about the industry, we want to hear from the industry talking about the industry, more use cases, more case studies, all those different areas. And that means we're going to start at 8:30 in the morning every day. We'll have kickoff sessions on the acceleration stage each day for that, kind of get you in the mood while you're having a biscuit and a coffee. And once again, this year, in reply to the feedback last year, we might have a special coffee cart where you can get coffees that I can't pronounce, but rather than just being filter coffee, you'll be able to get your cappuccinos, lattes, iced coffees and teas, that kind of thing. It's a beautiful little putt-putt. If you've ever been to, I think that's what they're called in Vietnam. Tuk-tuk is what I meant.
Yes.
So we've got one of those on the show floor, which will obviously be a nice little busy area. We're going to have more seating on the show floor for people to get together, once again, for networking, to chill out and to really discuss business opportunities and collaborations. Which once again, from our point of view as Telecom Infra Project, we're here to facilitate and accelerate the growth of the industry. So we put on this huge event called Fyuz, put on a great agenda to give you a reason to come, but then we also want to make sure you can have that chance to network when you're there. So I think overall, we've absolutely nailed the kind of the user experience to make it better for everyone, whether you're a sponsor or an attendee this year. And then we've also, on day 0, we're going to be doing a special tour of a lab at Trinity College Dublin. So we're just working on the details at the moment, but it'll be with our partners at ION Global Forum. and I'll be showcasing some of the work that we're doing in the optical packet and transport group.
Absolutely.
So there's loads going on, as always, but not so much that you're having to think, where do I need to be? How do I need to get there? We want to really bring it back and remember why people attend events. It's not just to learn, but it's also to network. It's also to teach, So we want to really make sure that that's part of the experience this year. So with all that said about how we're doing those kind of things, Vish, why don't you give us a bit more of a deep dive into the agenda and how that looks this year?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for raising the point that actually we've really tried to streamline the agenda. You're absolutely right. I mean, last year, the agenda was packed, and therefore people were finding themselves having to go to multiple concurrent events. So this year, we really worked on having a much more streamlined agenda. The one thing that I'd say from a tip perspective that stands out from other events that I've been to at Fyuz and for Fyuz is that we really want to ensure that the agenda speaks about the pragmatic and practical insights. And that's really important because actually, if you look at what the TIP community does, it's all about implementation. And there are many champions out there that want to impart their knowledge and try and incentivize others to join the forum as well. So from my perspective, let me talk about sort of two sort of points. One is what are the hot topics, and the other is what are the things, the fun things that are going to excite me personally and therefore the rest of the audience. So there are four major hot topics that I'd say that are forming the formal agenda and actually some of the acceleration stage sessions as well. Number one is around the practical steps and implementation sort of requirements to get towards autonomous networks. I mean, that is already happening in the industry. We hear it from in other fora as well, but actually within the tip concept, it's all about really ensure that there are sort of a base level of understanding of how do you drive forward proper automation in RAN, in transport, in open Wi-Fi as well. And let's be honest, it's really driven from the fact that telecom operators are sitting there needing to reduce the level of CapEx and OpEx burden that is being driven from their networks. They live in a world where networks are built from legacy and there's a lot of siloed functional sort of concepts out there. So trying to bring a lot more practicality towards that. Second is the actual confluence between agentic AI and how it can influence innovation in telecom networks. And I'll tell you about a fun thing that we got on the agenda that's coming about on that. Really, this is now the real adage that's happening in the industry. How do you really leverage AI in such a way that you can bring forward and revolutionize the way you drive forward automation and build AI applications on top? Third is, and this is on day three, there are various building blocks that are happening in the 5G concept, but on the road to 6G. Whether it's around non-terrestrial and wireless integration, whether it's actually around how do you actually break the technical barriers to scale open network APIs, or the concept around bringing about QoE on voice, video, and messaging. But those are actual, real, practical things that can be done in the industry. And we have some experts talking about that. The fourth thing, which we can't let go of, is that we have some mainstay pro PGs in TIP. Open RAN, open optical packet transport, open LAN. And there's been a real sort of push in each of those agendas. It's good to hear where the industry's got to in all three of them. So we have main stage as well as breakout sessions on those. And in Open LAN, I've got to put a shout out to the Open LAN community. They're really driven forward open Wi-Fi solutions that are practical and field ready in North America, and they want to bring that to the European context as well. And let's not forget, there are also the neutral host infrastructure sharing solutions out there. A lot of chronic need for in-building coverage and looking for ways to try and meet changes in regulation around building infrastructure. That's one thing about the agenda. Those are the four major hot topics, and we have quite a few interesting speakers, already 100 plus, I'd say, if not getting to 200 speakers, coming in and talking about those particular concepts. I wanted to do a shout out to some of the fun things that are going to happen as well, if you don't mind. One is this year we did a sort of a showcase of startups, but this year we really wanted to really bring that to the table. So we have an innovation forum where we have 5 AI startups coming in and formally pitching to a judging panel, conceived with our sort of our tip board and a few others, and an open audience. It's a fun, interactive way for startups to get to know the big players, but also follow up with a happy hour afterwards. Second is fifth in our series, the Global Policy and Industry Roundtable. It's an invite-only session, but it's great for policymakers and industry executives to come together. And the topic this year is not open round like it has been in the past, but more around how do we embrace AI to drive forward growth in the telecom sector. And we've got a couple of partner events as well, John, which I wanted to mention. There's been a sort of a shout out just on LinkedIn where AWS and TIP are sponsoring a hackathon. And this is just running the weekend before Fyuz, and the winners will be showcased at Fyuz at some point. But really, it's a AWS and various partners coming together using agentic AI to accelerate RAN automation, innovation in that space. They're looking for more developers to come to it. So go to our website to find a place where that is running so you can register as a developer team. And Connect, which is part of Trinity College. They're doing a bit of a Connect at 10, which is their 10th anniversary. And they want to come and bring the Irish ecosystem to the table and talk about what they've been doing at Connect over the past few years and what's coming next as well. Those are the things that come to mind, John. And I think from my perspective, with the fact that you're building out an experience which is really balancing the agenda with networking and a real showcase of traffic on the expo floor with acceleration stage, and this agenda, it's a no-brainer to me. People need to be coming, right?
Exactly.
What's your thought? I mean, what do you think you need to see?
I think that's absolutely right. I mean, one of the great things about having those partner events is that's what Telecom Infra Project does, right? We pull people together. We actually work with partners in terms of where do you need to be? How do things need to happen? We've got the contacts, we've got the skills within Telecom Infra Project to make these kind of things happen. So it's great when they happen at Fyuz, which once again is just a showcase for the entire industry for the year. I think that's why, or I think that's probably reflected in the kind of people that then attend Fyuz and actually sponsor into Fyuz. Because when you look at the kind of from the M&O point of view, which is the thing all that people always want to know, right? Who turns up? Who's going to be in the room? That's why AT&T are there, TELUS are there, Orange are there, KDDI, you know, all the companies from around the world.
Canada, Deutsche Telekom, the list goes on, right?
You know, companies from every part of the globe. I think last year we had just shy of 300 kind of very senior level attendees from MNOs. And they're there for a simple reason. They're the people within their company who are the experts on open and disaggregated. And they want to speak to people who are also experts in that, because when you go to other shows, you meet a lot of people and it's very exciting. It's very good. But you kind of like, well, actually, I'm the expert on this within my company. I need to know about these bits. My time's pretty short. And that's why in 3 days, you can meet people. You don't have to go through the reason we're interested in open and disaggregated is because of this. You're straight in, right? And you're learning and you're about teaching and kind of absorbing.
Can I mention one thing to you? Something
Yeah.
that I heard quite recently from one of our Tip Forward members. The reason why they like Fyuz, say, compared to MWC, at MWC, they're effectively locked in a room for the whole 4 days. Whereas here at Fyuz, they have to speak at certain points as an exec, but actually what they're there for is be moving around the show floor, meeting people on the show floor who are sponsoring, but also waiting for others who want to just check in and talk about certain things. I think Fyuz is small enough and discreet enough for allowing that connection to happen. That's why we like it. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And once again, that's then reflected in the sponsors that you have, right? Because sure, I mean, we have sponsors like Ericsson, Nokia, Intel. It's great. I mean, as an event professional, it's kind of like, these are good logos to have on.
Yeah.
But then it's also about having those other sponsors, you know, the kind of the SME, the labs. A lot of academia this year are sponsoring in, because once again, they're doing the testing. They're looking at what the next generation is. And you know, I come from a techie background in terms of where innovation kind of happens.
Yeah.
And a lot of innovation, although a lot of the money comes from the big guys, actually innovation comes from small things. That's why we're doing the startups.
So
that's why we have the academia guys.
A shout out to Joyner from UK, actually. In that
Huge shout out to Joyner. Glad you can be there. But we also have, once again, universities from all over the world attending and being part of it, because, they work much more closely on a governmental level than
Yeah.
a lot of other organisations as well. So they know where the industry's heading, and they're kind of charged with making it happen. So that's a really, really, exciting kind of reason to be there. It's not just about business opportunities, about collaboration opportunities, but also it is that key thing of networking. Because, as I always say, if you have a conversation about what you're doing today, the chances are someone will have that conversation with someone else and go, I met someone who did that. And it's about building up those kind of things. And if you're not there to have those conversations, it's a missed opportunity, because Fyuz comes around once a year. We put on a big show, and if you're there, we can help you. If you're not, don't come crying to me. With that said, how can people get involved?
Well, I believe at this stage, we've got 7 weeks to go, right? So
We have.
I would expect that you're probably still open to having the odd few sponsors who wish to come in.
I have a few sponsorship slots available. Not many. There's not much branding left, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But I can still build things.
So then the other thing is register.
Absolutely.
If you haven't registered yet, then you need to register, buy a ticket and come to it. And actually, I'll add on to the fact that if you are interested in the hackathon, there is a registration link for that on our website. Do you want to, what's the website again? www.
It is, I thought you'd never ask. It's www.fyuz.org. All the information
Brilliant.
you need is on there. Equally, you can visit the Telecom Infra Project website, and they'll take you around to the relevant links and everything you need in there. Follow us on LinkedIn for the latest updates. It's a huge tip that I'd give you. We do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. But as I say, the main thing is, if you're sitting on the fence and thinking, do we need to be involved? Remember, you don't want to have to wait a year to have the next conversation.
Yeah.
When you wake up today and you think to yourself, I need to do this, you do it that day. Because if you don't, someone else will. And so that's why it's really important to be at something like Fyuz. And we hope you will come and join us in beautiful Dublin. There is, as I say, some great networking opportunities. The happy hours at the end of each day, a day zero event. So if you turn up on Sunday, you might get an invite to the day zero event. And remember, your tickets include your lunch when you're there, a kind of light bits for breakfast, coffee throughout the day, a pint of Guinness at the end of the day. You can even have 2. If you're quick,
For those who drink.
3 down you. And,
Absolutely.
It's all about getting there and being in front of the right people. So
right.
Is there anything else you'd want to add into this, Vish?
No, I think
we've covered
done.
everything.
Yeah, I reckon we have. Let's
in
give
that
it
case, if you're watching this, go to www.fyuz.org. Register now. Don't think about it. Just register now. We'll be in contact, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Dublin.
Thank you very much, everybody.